Well, Outkick.com has reported some underwhelming numbers. The NBA and the MLB return.
You're kidding.
It's we talked about it. All you need to see was the boycott of Goya to know the silent majority is out there. The free market is speaking, and God bless you all. Everyone. And by the way, sales of Chinese goods are going down as well across America. But on ESPN's MLB return, the numbers were underwhelming. It was $4 million for the Yankees national game, which is not a lot for the opening day, especially with the Yankee Dodgers, LA, and
especially after
Nationals,
nothing for months.
Right, then Dodgers Giants in LA market, Giants $2.8 million, and then they dramatically dropped a few days later down to an average of about 1 million, between 800,000 and 1 million viewers a night, which is really next to nothing.
Yeah, if you're giving ratings and you're saying 100,000 at the end with a number in front, it's not good.
No. And the Clippers Lakers opening night was 3.4 million, which is not good for an NBA game, and the Pelicans and Jazz 2.1 million, and those numbers dropped too. The following night, Celtics Bucks was 1.3 million viewers. So keep it up, boys. Walk off, disgrace the flag. Tell us how everybody's a bad person without knowing us, without judging everybody by their character. Keep it up. It's going great for you.
From Breitbart, put that up one more time, G. This was the headline today. Ratings crash for NBA MLB after protests-filled debut. And I'll give you a little bit from Breitbart here. As the NBA and MLB return from the coronavirus-imposed hiatus, it appears TV viewers are not interested in what the increasingly woke leagues have to offer. With both baseball and basketball draped in all sorts of Black Lives Matter and social justice symbolism for their opening games, a substantially smaller number of fans tuned in to the rest of the week's games. And as Paul just went through the numbers, Outkick's Ryan Glasspiegel added more ratings. He said, to be fair, since I compared MLB or NBA return night 1, here's night 2. Not good. MLB last Friday, Mets Braves 900,000, Brewers Cubs 1 million, Angels A's 797,000. And then, like Paul said, NBA, Celtics, Bucks, 1.3, Mavs, Rockets, 1.7. MLB, this is from Ethan Strauss on Twitter. MLB really fell off after opening day. In general, both leagues aren't getting the audience one might expect from a nation that's been deprived of entertainment for months. You could chalk up sagging interest up to pandemic conditions, but 5.8 million tuned in to watch Tom Brady hit golf shots into the woods on the match. So here's what you can chalk it up to, which these self-aggrandizing fools don't seem to get. That there is just a huge, wide swath of the country who doesn't buy the whole nonsense of that we have to do it now, and it has nothing to do with the flag or the anthem. Baloney. And they just won't stand for it. So I keep hearing the argument, you have a right to, the like Paul says, I may not agree with their right, or whatever you say. I'll die for their, what do you say?
I may disagree
I'm doing such a good job of saying it.
I disagree with what they say, but I'd fight to the death for their right to say it.
Okay.
And I will react my way, and I'm all about free markets.
Exactly. And that's what's happening. So people are just not buying it.
Yeah, and you know, the wider range, again, and I say this all the time as well, is what then? What's next? Because nobody looks far enough down the road. What is this going to mean? All right, so now you have low numbers. Well, what does that mean? So nobody's watching, or not many people are watching. Well, guess what? That's going to affect everything, because now the advertisers... Yep. The people that bought ads are going to be like, hey, you guys, you know, when we made these big deals with you, we were promised, you know, that they're guaranteed certain numbers. Or when it comes to advertising, there's called a make goods. Now they have to make good. You didn't give me the audience. That equals free advertising. Nobody wants to, these networks don't want to give it away, but now they have to because they can't deliver what they promised in their deal. And again, then the ripple effect. Okay, now they're going to go back to the leagues and go, guess what? You guys aren't giving us the product we negotiated for. So you owe us now. It's a long and a wide-ranging ripple effect, but nobody looks at that. They just, what's emotional? What can I do right now? Oh, I'm going to kneel. Shut up.
Yeah. Well,
what did Odell Beckham say today? Oh, this is all about making the owners money. They don't care about us. It's about profit. Well, yeah, they put billions of dollars into a product to turn a buck. What are you, a moron?
Yeah, why are you playing football?
Stupid.
For a profit?
Yeah.
If you don't like playing football for millions upon, don't play. No one's begging you to play. Don't play.
Or do
There's
it for
100
free.
guys behind you and take that job.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers come in for hockey, by the way, because for the most part, from what I can tell, you're not seeing this nonsense in the NHL. For the most part, from what I could tell.
Not at all.
Not at all, right?
Not
Has
at all.
anyone even?
I haven't seen.
I haven't
anything in
seen
the
one.
NHL. Not a one.
So it'll be interesting to see if hockey picks up any of this viewership.
And what you'll see Black Lives, but it won't say Black Lives Matter, and they'll talk about racial equality, but they're not supporting a communist group. You know, that's the difference to me. We can all celebrate the fact that, listen, we got to just all try to treat each other equally and the content of the character and all that. That's great. But when the communist organization that's burning down buildings and creating violence, and it's run by a bunch of, bankers and financed by lunatics, I mean, to me, it's...
And your group is now come out and basically told us that they're highly well-trained Marxists whose only goal is to get Trump out and destroy and tear down the nuclear family and hate the country. Well... And attention, most of the country is not down for that revolution. They're just not. And you can keep tricking yourself or fooling yourself that somehow you're making inroads and big waves towards something. You're not. You're alienating a huge swath of the country. And I think this is just the beginning of seeing it in these ratings.
And we've seen so much of a communist movement throughout America. You look at movies like The Enemies Within. They just show how the Muslim Brotherhood and the AFCLA or whatever. There's so many groups that have, like, the Democratic Party's been hijacked by a communist movement. And that's why that walk away campaign is going so well. There's so many people just walking away from a Democratic Party that doesn't represent what I used to believe in. It doesn't represent anything to do with civil liberty. There's nothing to do with, the fair treatment of, and wages of unions. It's now become something different. It's been completely hijacked.
When you look at golf, hitting a white ball, going to chase it and hit it again, 6.3 million people watched the match. That was the height of the televised part of that. Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Now, of course, you got four huge names. 6.3 million. Look at the UFC. They just did a pay-per-view. Rick was giving us the numbers. The last pay-per-view. Those are okay headliners. That's not Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz on the headline. They did, what is it, 1.8 million?
Yeah.
1.4 million buys?
Yep.
It's like
buys.
1.3.
That's buying.
That's like, and that's like seventh or sixth all time on the list. So people are starved for sports. But I hate to tell you, the country's going to come first, whether you like it or not, to a large swath of the country. And that's just the way it's going to be. And maybe they don't care. I would have guessed they probably don't. But you care, and you should.